What's up, everybody? Welcome to Podcast Now Plus. I'm Alex, and in this video, I want to talk about what's going on with the Lord of the Rings Gollum. This is my series where I take a look at an upcoming game or franchise, talk about where it's at right now and where it's going over the next year. And I know I've been asked quite a bit to do this game, Lord of the Rings Gollum, and I figured I'd put it on this channel. And this is an odd game. It really is. It's always stood out to me that it looks rather solid. I've always been kind of in this game's camp, but I've never sung its praises like it's going to be like the greatest game of all time. And I think people had started to realize that this game is not going to be the greatest game of all time around this year. And I think it's most notable when you look at some of the trailers for this game, the likes versus dislikes on YouTube. And I know they disabled dislikes. There's ways around it. We'll just kind of leave it there. And this game got absolutely buried in early July when they did I think it was like I think just gameplay trailer or gameplay overview trailer, something along the lines of that. And it was about a minute and a half trailer just showing Gollum, climbing up things, shimmying things, and the game got wrecked online. Now, I don't know if that was kind of a message for things to come, because that was early July, and then we already knew, I believe, at that point, the game was supposed to come out September 1st, right? It's been a year for this game. Unlike other games where maybe the entire year came and went and there was nothing for it, this game had stuff. It had visual things, like actual new updates that they've shown online. It had a release date for, I believe it was September 1st, or at least it was early September, and then it was delayed across the board, and it was delayed by a few months. That's what they said, a few months, and then they would update the release date in the near future. And that was a message they posted on July 25th. So I want to just take a second to realize that a couple things have obviously fallen apart since July 25th. The game was delayed. There is no new release date. And not only is there not a new release date, so they didn't do that second part, there is no exact timing in the near future, but also the by a few months, the delay of by a few months, no, that's also not true. So I am getting a pretty ugly feeling here that things are not going so great at the studio, I imagine. This game has always kind of been positioned as this is like an indie kind of Lord of the Rings game, obviously, where you play as Gollum. And again, it looks fine. It doesn't look spectacular. It definitely looks like if an indie developer got their hands on it, and that's okay. That's okay. But and I'm not saying people are also wrong, though, to call things out. That's why the entire thing is just so fascinating to me, is because it has been quite a year. You get a release date, you get new updates, you get a trailer that gets just destroyed. And I guess what's more fascinating, right, if you go back in time to the other trailers that this game has released over the past couple of years, like 2021 even, there's actually a lot of positivity on those. It's only the one in July that, and ironically, the one in July is where you get the most uncut footage of what you're going to be doing in the game. The other ones were a little bit more secretive of how the game actually worked. And again, that's why it becomes a little fascinating, where it's like, well, is it really like an awful game that you were kind of hiding and you were hoping people didn't figure it out, and then you had to eventually show it? Or, do people just have the wrong idea? Which is it? But, it getting absolutely destroyed in early July, and then coincidentally, 3 weeks after that, they delay the game. And they delay it, again, by a few months, but it's really delayed indefinitely. When you're not giving a date, it's delayed indefinitely. We don't know when this game comes out. In fact, again, if you go based off that message, the game should already be out. And if it shouldn't already be out, they should have given us a new date by now, because they say that they were going to do it in the near future. Near future does not mean 6 months from then, right? So I do think there's probably some severe things going on at the studio. Maybe it's like a really quick pivot, like a course correct after that July thing that happened. So we'll see in terms of where we're going with this game, right, going into 2023. Well, I mean, I would hope it releases early in the year. Here's how you'll know if something really bad has happened, right? If the game comes out January, even February, maybe this entire thing is just exaggerated and blown out of proportion, right? If they come out, say, in the next couple months, and say game comes out in the summer or the fall of 2023, there was something really bad that happened, right? That's something they really pivoted at some point, because you don't have a release date for September 1st, and it was set in stone, and then you delay it a month and a week, about 5 weeks before the game's supposed to come out, and then you don't update us at all since then. So something fishy is going on there, and the way to know it for sure will be, when do we actually get this game? Do we get it next month? If so, fine. If we get it like in August or like a full year after, not only was it a full year delay, which kind of looks a little odd, but also the timing of it all makes it look really bad. But let me know what you guys think about this game in the comments below. Make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel, bell icon turned on, and I hope to see you all on the next one.